do?
Welcome back
What
to
it do?
Melanintel.
My name is Rob,
It's been a while. And my name is Nay.
and this is
Nice to see you again.
Melanintel. You know the vibes.
Melanintel.
You know the vibes, my guy.
For sure. But the vibes haven't been around for a minute. So
Absolutely not.
we'll apologize. You know, our plan was to shoot episodes together
For sure.
moving forward. We didn't want to shoot remotely anymore. But due to COVID, that changed that plan.
That's
so,
a fact.
and then we just lived through COVID, and here we are.
That's a fact. But we back, baby. We back and we better.
Back and I'm better.
It's all good.
For sure. So, Rob, let's get right into it. As you guys all know, Black Lives Matter has been a tremendous movement for
You know the
much
vibe.
longer than just before we named it BLM, right? Much longer
Facts.
than that. So, we've been seeing tons of protests lately, especially for some of our younger millennials and Gen Z. This is the first time you guys are even aware of some of these issues, or they're even being brought to light for you. So, my question for you, Rob, is how do you feel about some of the debates that we see on social media about BLM as an organization and a movement?
Well, personally, the movement is very powerful. I agree with the movement 100%. The message, Black Lives Matter, common sense. Black people been getting killed for over 500 years since we were brought to this country, and we're experiencing systematic racism, economic apartheid, the Jim Crow, everything that you could possibly think of is continuously going on for the black community. So Black Lives Matter. Like, Black lives are the main focus. So I'm 100% for the Black Lives Matter. However, I believe, based on my research, that the actual foundation of the Black Lives Matter was actually infiltrated years ago by a white man or some type of white organization. So I heard that they were actually the ones that's collecting all the money that's being donated. But I gotta actually continuously do more research. But I'm not surprised, like, throughout history, like, white people infiltrate everything, you know what I'm saying? But as a whole, like, the movement, Black Lives Matter, I'm 100% for it. How do you feel about it?
I mean, of course, I'm 100% for it. So, overall, though, I don't think that it should be an actual debate. And I think that social media, in a way, is such a gift and such a curse, because it allows you to see how rude, ignorant, and uneducated so many people are. So many of your peers, my grandparents' peers, who I already know they are stupid because those are the boomers. So there you have that. And then, but it's just the fact that some people feel as though they need to debate BLM as if I've heard that it was a hate organization, and that we're a organization that want to bring violence and crime. And my question to people, I'm going to doubt that racists are even watching this because we're talking about BLM. But my question to people is, why do you even think that BLM is a racist and hateful organization? Because obviously that shows that you are
100%.
racist. And you are hateful, because all we're trying to do is show you that we are being murdered at rates that are extremely high and clearly are not right. And we're trying to just educate you on the history. And whenever they're educated on the history, they're like, well, that was a long time ago. Well, no, it wasn't, because my grandmother was alive when schools were still segregated, and they were not desegregated until she was a 4th grader. Actually, we're gonna put the picture up. She just sent me a picture of her 2nd or 3rd grade class. It was all black kids. So just to show y'all that this is not old. And I mean, it was back in the 60s, and we want to act like the 60s was a million years ago. But once we think about our grandparents and then our parents in between them, that's not that long ago. So if my grandmother was here for desegregation of schools, and everything that followed after and before, I just want to know what her mom was around for.
Exactly.
And what my great great grandmother was around for, because if that right before desegregation was everything that you just spoke about. So,
and they're like, throughout history, media and white people, they're famous for actually reverse psychology, like literally just reversing what they're doing and try to act as though we're doing the same thing. Like they're trying to act like because
Oh
they're
yeah, like when they say black on black
because
crime.
they're racist and they're doing
Like,
all
that's
that.
not a
It's like a
thing.
defense mechanism. So they say, "Oh, we're promoting hate," but literally what we're doing is just reaction from racism. It's a reaction from systemic corruption that's in
Exactly.
this country to hold black people back. So it's literally we're
And it's such a shame because they're like, well, you shouldn't react that way. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like
Like,
what?
why-
They had to make it, like, they tried to be peaceful. How about this? How about when they were marching and, you know, just for, not even this. Black people already had the right to
Fact.
vote. That was already established. But they were marching because the white people wouldn't freaking let them do it.
That's a
So they
fact.
wouldn't even let them show up and vote. They had to go to the back, or they had to take an extensive test. They had to name all the presidents of the United States. Could you do it? I can't even name 20. Like, what? Like, so I'm just like, but they were marching because they already had the right, and they wouldn't let them do
Right.
it. So, and those were our boomers. Those people, those kids who were involved in those marches with their parents are our boomers. So how can you sit there and act like we shouldn't be emotional, or like we just were allowed to vote, guys? There are people's who's, like, I'm pretty sure my grandmother's probably mom, yeah, because we're only talking about the 60s. So she probably got to vote for the first time in her life when she was like in her 20s and in her 30s.
right. Yeah, it's crazy.
So she couldn't even vote like when she turned 18. Her parents could never vote.
I literally like.
So come on. I'm only the second generation of my family who actually was alive who was born into a time when I could easily go vote. Like,
That's
come
a
on.
fact. And like literally, I personally feel like going back to like when people were really rioting and they were just, you know what I'm saying, they were just causing havoc. I completely agree with that because that's what it takes to make change in this country. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Europeans, how they were able to conquer and just get what they got. They killed, raped, and destroyed. They don't talk about that. Like they did all this to get what they got. So when black people retaliate and they become conscious of what's going on and they try to destroy the government from within, now everything is all political and all these rules set. Like, no. Like, we're destroying this. Like, I feel everyone should literally come up with a clever solution in an organized way to literally deep root this racist, corrupted system. And I'm very supportive of what's going on right now. Power to the people.
Yeah, it's seriously. And it just needs to, I remember, okay, so we actually shot something for you guys a month ago, but then we had major technical difficulties. So I remember in that discussion, I had asked you, I was like, so do you feel as though there is any room for us to make amends and try to just fix the system, or you feel as though it needs to be dismantled?
Nah, we definitely have to dismantle it. And this message for black people. Black people throughout years, once we were brought to this country and the Jim Crow and all this corruption that was inflicted onto us physically and most importantly mentally, we developed this inferiority complex to where we just abide by the oppressors, the white people. We feel that we need the white people's rules, or we need the white people's principles in order to cope with this reality that they created. But we have to literally get ourselves out that mental state of going in the confinements of this wicked system that was designed to kill us and destroy us, and we have to break free and actually create our own system. We need to band together and do anything that it takes to organize our own system, because we are the market. Black people, the black dollar generates trillions of dollars to this country. The black market is what allows this country to function. So once black people realize
think that black people should dismantle, and then, like, do you think we should start our own stuff, or do you think the whole thing needs to be okay? So you think we need to start our own
We need to get back to that
stuff.
Black Wall Street, baby. We need to get that segregation mindset, do our own, you know what I'm saying, and just start our own black economic system.
And a lot of people
You feel me?
didn't even, it's the sad part. What really upsets me And I guess that it's not being judgmental in any way, shape, or form, because it's not necessarily anyone's fault. It's just the lack of knowledge. My gosh, like even as black people, like for us to not know that, like that we had the fact that a lot of people didn't even know we had a Black Wall Street. Just show, but then again, like I'm not faulting anyone our age, because you know, like my grandmother went above and beyond to teach me about Black culture. She took me to museums, like we took trips, just the two of us with my friends. Like, you know, when in Washington D.C., when the African American Museum opened, we went. As soon as it opened, we spent 2 full days going through. So I learned a lot from her growing up as a child. So I can't fault you guys, but I hope that now that you guys are learning that we had a lot.
It's 2020, baby. Y'all gotta wake up, man. Develop a knowledge yourself. Do your research. Know who you are, and stop thinking in the confinements of this system. You gotta wake up.
Yeah, like
put those school history textbooks down.
It's sad because we think about school. Exactly, it's school, and then like for example, a lot of people, grown Black people at that, like with kids and
they're the worst.
Didn't even know of Juneteenth. Like
they're the worst.
But like then again, I'm not faulting anybody for that.
Yeah, everyone has levels of.
I learned about Juneteenth a few years back. Yeah. Exactly. So, but
they have to wake up.
It's hard because, of course, all of us aren't going to be super conscious. But you guys just need to know that we are very educated, very talented.
We are the original
I just want you guys to understand. Exactly.
We are the supreme being.
I need you guys to realize that, like, when the slaves, they took everything from the slaves. They didn't teach them how to read. They didn't teach them how to write. They teach them how to swim. I need you guys to understand that some of them would escape from the deepest and the depths of down south states to Pennsylvania, to Philadelphia, to be free. If they could do that on foot by singing songs to each other, I don't even like car rides to Georgia, so I can't imagine walking. Like, so I need you guys to understand that clearly we are extremely smart, and our brains are physically and like just chemically amazing. The fact that a person cannot know how to read or write and could and walk on foot from Georgia to Pennsylvania, come on.
And you just gotta think, like, people gotta understand the history before slavery. Like, what the white man wants you to do, they want you to actually just focus on your history when you were brought to this country. They act like the Black history started when we were brought to, but our history is like millions of years old. Like, our history starts in like ancient Kush, Kemet, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? The Timbuktus, the civilization of Mali. Like, you got to research your history, man. Because, like, they literally don't want you to know your history so you don't know who you are. Because if you research your history, you'll find that you are the ones that taught the Europeans. You are the ones who actually gave the Europeans the structure and understanding of creating a civilization, creating a system that is continuously holding us back to this day. Like, without us, they would not be in existence or have no type of knowledge at all. And they know this. That's why they don't want you to know it.
And it's just crazy that they were like, niggers are dumb. And they're the ones teaching them how to make guns. They're the ones teaching them how to shoot the guns.
They reverse
they're the ones teaching them how to make alcohol. They're the ones literally being innovative and teaching the white folks everything because they had
we built this country.
And how can you classify us as dumb? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me.
See, the thing about white people,
literally
racist white people, or anyone racist, like, Black people are discriminated against globally. Like, not just white people who hate Black people, like Asians, Middle Easterns, all of them discriminate and oppress Black people globally. But the thing is that they try to put the impression that Black is bad and white is good, but it's actually reverse. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think, like, they always try to hold back the power. Like, they, in general, throughout history, like, they always try to destroy the great. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't hold us back if we actually had nothing to show for it. It wouldn't be necessary to enslave us. So you gotta think, like, why would they enslave? Why is Black people globally the main?
We were the strongest.
Why, like,
strongest type of people they tried to enslave. They already tried it. They tried to use white people. They tried to use Native Americans, and we were the only race who could withstand those conditions.
If any race experienced what we experienced, they would not exist to this day. Big facts.
Exactly.
Big facts.
Exactly. Or how about if you speak about any race who experienced it? Or like for example, let's talk about how Deshaun Jackson he put something up about Hitler. I don't know much.
Oh yes,
I
that
didn't do
quote.
much research. I didn't pay much
Yes.
attention. Yeah,
And
he
that
just put up a
quote was
quote that
real.
honest it was the truth.
100%
Yeah, that's
true.
what I said. It was
If
the
Hitler-
truth. But white
if Hitler-
people were up in arms
Yo,
about
if Hitler really said that quote, Hitler woke. If Hitler really said that,
Yeah, if
Hitler
he really
is
said that-
woke. I never knew Hitler to say that, but that statement was a fact.
I haven't, but I also don't know much. And
Yeah.
that's actually, honestly, see, that's another thing. Let's talk about that. A lot of people feel like we're just like, oh, BLM, BLM. Me, personally, I don't know a lot about I know what I learned in school about the Holocaust. So me, I literally just was like, you know what? I'd like to learn a little bit more. And that's not even my oppression. So the fact that, like, people were just like, oh, well, that was a long time ago. We need to forget about slavery. We need to forget about this. We need to forget about Jim Crow. Forget about black. Forget about separate but equal. As if my grandparents weren't here for
And we're
that.
still
So I'm like,
experiencing
let's
it to
just
this day.
let's just ignore it. But the fact that, like, we still want to learn and be educated about, like, what other races went through as far as being oppressed,
And we're
you
still
know?
oppressed to this day. Nothing changed but the weather.
And the fact that you just can't exactly, you can't, it ain't that the truth. The year in the
Nothing
weather, the
changed
day,
but
that's literally
the
it.
wet.
If we weren't still oppressed, we wouldn't even have to be bringing these topics to light. But we have to, and we have to talk about them because ignorant people act as if they're irrelevant or as if they don't matter because I guess they don't apply to your everyday life.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But there are a lot of people who I will not be associating with anymore.
Oh yeah, this situation, this whole Black Lives
A lot
Matter
of
and
people.
all these murders of these black people for no reason, it definitely exposed a lot of people who are undercover racists. Let's make that clear.
Oh yeah, closet racist.
If your friend-
and then I mean, of course, some people I'm not surprised,
surprised.
about in any way, shape, or form. I'm not surprised about
Yes.
you, you know, and but then again, I can't fault you too much, but I can because we're a little grown
Yeah.
down. But it's your white supremacist and conservative Republican parents who decide to teach you guys that black people are just mean, rude, nasty, scum of the earth, and just the lowest of low, and that's so wrong. I need you to understand that you need to check your parents because your parents are teaching you that another human being, let's take race out of it, another type of human being because of the color of their skin, because they're tanner, they are the problem with society. But how about you're the problem with society because you're the one that's making a problem with a group of people that never made a problem with you.
Exactly. And it's just hate. And
How
the
about
thing
that?
about it is like a lot of people be like, oh, like white people hate me because my skin is black and I'm white people don't really hate you. They literally are jealous of you. Like racism is nothing but jealousy and envy. Like they know that they're inferior to you. They know your history and that you are the original being and they come from you and you taught them. Your people taught and educated them years ago. They know all this, so they're reversing it and act as though you are the inferior being. Your melanin is ugly. Your facial features are ugly. So they're trying to make
our melanin's ugly, but y'all spend all that time tanning, looking a hot ass mess, looking like red lobsters, and then when it finally sets in the tan, it still don't
in
look
actuality.
good.
In actuality, melanin is literally the key to life. Like melanin is literally a planetary ID. Like a lot of people don't realize that. Like for the sun, that's literally a planetary ID. That's why we can withstand sun, and people who have less melanin can't withstand sun. So it makes sense that we are the original being. Why would there be a race that I'm not even sounding racist? This is just scientific proof. Why would there be a race that actually can't withstand the sun when the sun is just like a natural energy that's in the universe?
And how would we?
Think about that.
How would we, people who can withstand the sun, come from something that doesn't even have that gene?
Exactly.
Because I tell you right now, I could have a child. You and I could have a child. From both of our skin colors, that baby should be super brown, right? Your mom is light skinned. My mom is light skinned. So are my grandparents. There's a huge chance that child will be way lighter than the both of us. Like, a huge chance. So it is just proves that we can produce darker, lighter, albino. How about
Absolutely. I got a question for you, Nick. What do you feel about what should be done with these police officers? Do you feel that they should defund the police completely and have the people take control of policing in the communities?
Okay, hold up. Well, touching on people policing, we've already seen that lots of white people feel as though they can do a citizen's arrest.
Right.
So, as far as taking the police away and replacing us with citizens arresting white folk, we might be in a worse position than we thought we was before.
You think so?
because them white folk do not play. They be the ones that be going to cops and doing all that. They be
But black
starting
people
stuff.
gotta get the strap. Black people gotta get that inferiority mentality, because white people could have a strap too, but so could black people. We could blow them away too.
I think that the problem is, I think the problem is with cops and the discussion and the policing. I actually just watched this. J. Cole had an interview. He said it the other day. He was like, I don't think there's a such thing as a good cop. I think that good people are cops. But the actual job of a police officer is a bad job. So he was like, you cannot be a good cop. You can be a good person that is a cop, but the job itself changes and can change people. There are lots of people who enter the police force with the state of mind that they want to change, that they want to break the cycles. And it's actually sad that there's even cycles. So there's a lot of people who want to, make those changes and want to be good cops and want to take care of their communities and want to, police not in these harmful ways that we are seeing people be policed. But it's the job that changes and what you have to do. And then honestly, so I talked to a couple, one of my co-workers, her boyfriend is in the police academy. So her and I have had a couple of discussions about it, and she was like, well, he's one of those people. No, she's not. He's one of those people that believes that he can be a good cop, and he was in the police academy while all this blew up, and he was like, I don't want people to feel as though like that's the type of person I'm going to be or the type of cop I'm going to be because I'm a good person. I don't want to do these kinds of things. And I think it's hard for good people, because I think a lot of good people want to make sure they get into those positions of power and try to make those changes. And it's hard. Like, if we had, I don't even know. It's hard.
I actually personally,
because a lot of good people want to do it and want to make changes and make the community better, but the job itself is the problem.
Yeah, and the thing about it, these people who are just joining the police force and trying to make change, they're literally just a pawn. They're not making no changes. Like, they're not. They're just gonna. Yeah. It's a hierarchy, yeah. And that's what she told me. She was like, it's a hierarchy. Yeah. So if her boyfriend, who was a brand new cop, he's been a cop for 2 days. That's the problem.
Exactly, and he wants and that's what J. Cole's point was. That the job is a bad job, and good people, the job is a bad job, and good people want to do it. So they try to get to the top, but they stop here because you have those higher ups who have already been cops for 5, 10, 15 years, and they're like, and so if they're two are pulling somebody over, they're going to be like, who do you think you are? You better watch your mouth. Don't talk to me like that. If they're going to be sunning the pawn, how you said, like, shut up. You a rookie on this job. Don't be out here thinking you can handle this. Yeah. And that's the problem.
And the thing is, like, people just have to study the history of policing. Like, the original police were called slave patrol.
Okay.
Yeah, so like literally the whole design, the whole systematic design of policing is to literally modern day slavery. It's modern day slavery. It's to literally incarcerate. It's to incarcerate the black man or woman, or to kill the black man or woman. So their whole
It's exactly
agenda,
what
their
it
whole
is.
agenda is just like the United States, is to kill the black race. So you're not going to change that system. No one, whether you're a good cop, you're not going to change that system because you're going into a already created foundation,
A corrupt
so
system.
So
Yeah.
the fact when you go into
Yeah.
it, you're automatically a part of it. That's just like someone driving a car and someone has a drive-by and shoots somebody. You're going to be blamed just like that person that shot that person. So people got to
Right.
realize what they're getting themselves into, and also they have to eliminate themselves from it when they see what's going on, because these police officers that are trying to claim that police officers are good and the system's good, they know what goes on behind closed doors. They know black people who are killed that they don't say
tons of
nothing
cops
about.
who work
They know-
with the drug dealers every
they
day.
know that they do deals with the drug dealers. They know that they plant stuff. They hear cops saying nigger around their office. So I feel all cops are corrupted and all cops, because they know what's going on. They're literally a product of what's going on. They're whether they're not saying nothing or not, they're still as guilty as that person doing or saying whatever they're saying behind closed doors and doing what they're doing.
Exactly. And the system itself, it's just hard. It's a broken system the system is the same way that it's always been, because you guys have to understand that, like, the police chiefs and like the higher ups, and those are our baby boomers. Those are kids of our baby boomers. So those are the people who grew up in households that felt very strong about Jim Crow and about not desegregating schools and about those things. Those are the people who are running, who are bosses of these people. So I think that a lot of people forget, and that's what I said before. It's not a long time ago. These people are still alive. These people are still working. Like, they're still in charge of other people if they made it to those points in their job. So where do you, like, this stuff is not going to disappear, guys.
Absolutely. So
it's not going to disappear.
In conclusion, defund these racist ass cops. Black people, get into the mentality of thinking superior. Get back to your ancient Kemetic roots back in Africa of who you really are, and come up with a foundation for your own. Stop relying on the government to create funds for you. Stop relying on the government to tell you what to do and to orchestrate your moves. Eliminate yourself from that government and literally come up with your own structure. Come up with your own system and get back to what you originally were. Power to the people.
We do much better, guys. Okay.
Absolutely, man.
So we will just go ahead and just end it off here.
For sure.
We're going to make sure that we are very consistent, so you guys will be seeing us consistently. Please feel free to comment, shoot us an email with any of your thoughts, feelings, or experiences over this process, because I'd love to know some of your experiences, especially on socials, and, getting your opinions out there and learning about. But honestly, guys, there shouldn't even be a rebuttal to Black Lives Matter, because it's racist, and there's no room for a discussion about racism. There's no, a discussion about racism shouldn't even be being had. No. So that's our first problem. So please let us know your own personal experiences. I'd be glad to share mine next episode, because I'm going myself to make sure to have a good conversation with someone I thought was much more educated, and I am learning is not. So I will make sure. I don't want to have that conversation over text, email, none of that. I need to have the conversation face to face. I need to have you here, because I'm gonna get mad over text.
Absolutely.
Well, not it just texts, you get things misconstrued. I want to have you here. I want to understand where your thoughts is, and so we can get to a common ground.
Yes.
Because being upset in these topics doesn't do anything. We need to be here to educate and to understand why people think the way they think. I think that's our main problem. We get upset at people who have a rebuttal to BLM, and instead of educating them and teaching them, we just bark and we get upset. So when we have those platforms to educate other racists and to enhance their thoughts, we need to come correct and have all of our facts laid out, because you can't just get into how upset you are about it, because your feelings don't matter, honestly. Not that they don't matter, but when it comes to you teaching people, all they're going to remember is how you how you said it and how you were screaming about it. So if you educate them in a sense, then hopefully that can turn a couple minds around. Hopefully.
100%.
We'll see what happens.
And pay attention to your friends on Instagram and Twitter that ain't saying nothing when these innocent black people are getting murdered. Pay attention. Cause you'll find a lot of people who you thought was with you ain't really with you. You find a lot of people
are not.
Yeah, exactly.
How they react to it, or are
Pay
they, are they posting what they say? I've been paying a fully attention, and that's why I want to make sure you just, if you do know, just have those educate people and pay attention, like Rob said, to how they are voicing their opinions.
Racist. Pay attention.
But a lot of undercover racists are loudly being racist and loudly being obnoxious, mean, rude, getting angry, being mad, and it's unfortunate that you can't. Not that I'm gonna say you can't, but as black people, if you meet their energy in that discussion, all they're gonna do is turn that around on you and make it as if you're angry, you're mean, you're loud, you're rude, and it's annoying. I get it. So all we have to do is show them who we are and that we are better and that we are educated and we can properly have a discussion with a difference of opinion without screaming and throwing masks all over the ground, how so many Karens have been doing lately.
Oh man, Karens out of control.
We can be calm when we have discussions and educate, okay? Don't be a Karen.
Stop letting Karens invade your personal space. Stop letting Karens push you.
Yes, seriously. Stop letting them disrespect you.
Bless them with a 2-piece if you could. If you could. If a Karen
would you
is
knock
in
a
your
Karen
face,
out, Rob?
hit it with a nice 2-piece combination like Mike Tyson would do. That's it. That's all.
All right, we're signing off, y'all.